line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up.
Multi-groove, multi-line, multi-sided, multiple drivers. This is how you do it around in these parts in PTM Race TV. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kansas Speedway here today and on to the track here on the show. We appreciate you coming on board, and we are getting ready for the action to start up here for the Pit Stall Race Series, ARCA Series, here at Kansas Speedway. I got on, I am the Crusader Chris Stride, joining you guys as, well, yeah, I think we already kind of just set the tone there. Paulson, I know you got a pretty cool looking scheme there, bud, but I think one side is set right than the other, bud. The downside is that one side is kind of the side we see the most of, so I think he'll figure that out when he's done with this one. Alright, so without further ado, the race fans, we got to get to the action, get to the showcase, but first, let's take a look at our lineup today here. We are looking at Kansas Speedway here. This is your Track Tech Talk presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. 1.5 miles in length, multi-groove, multi-line, multi-sided, multi-areas, D-shape configuration, slight tri-oval design, very tough cornering, very tough on the siding here. Watch for drivers to really be pushed to their limits, and look for many of them to really be drawing conclusions by just running the field in and keeping their lines in sight. As always, we bring by talking about our start with our drivers out here today. Ladies and gentlemen, starting up on the show, Len McNeese now joining me here on the call. And Len, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, doing great. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good on our end here. And right now, currently, with the drivers getting prepared, getting set up on the track here, I mean, I got to ask you, I mean, what are you feeling right now in this Gen 4 camp and all that today?
I don't know. I'm just hoping my computer will hold up. It didn't fail the last time I listened. I'm just hoping it'll stay up where I can at least be there at the end.
Well, for you, how would that really fare? How would you try to stay up there near the end in this case for how tough it is here these days?
I don't know. It's a good set of guys out here racing. I don't know if the tires are going to be an issue tonight, so I think maybe pit strategy may play off tonight.
Pit strategy and tire wear definitely a factor at any track, but this one certainly should be the case here today too. Len, thank you so much for your time down there.
Hey, I appreciate you, sir.
Absolutely. Len McNeese, ladies and gentlemen, on the line there. The Madhouse and the Madman is back, ladies and gentlemen. T.M. Lee has joined us back here on the call in the number 24 Pit Stall Racing Series machine. Professor, how are you, sir?
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Doing pretty good here, my friend. Well, right now, you had a great little showcase there at Chicagoland when you can get it out on the track, and you had a good little run there. These ARCA drivers definitely got something in store for us today at Kansas, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good race. It's not a wide open race like I wouldn't say Chicagoland was wide open, but you definitely, after about 10 laps, have to take care of your tires here because it'll chew them up. So just like all the other races, pit stop strategies, tires, all that great stuff to make a fun race.
This being a multi-group kind of track as well here, how does this kind of suit for your style, and how do you feel about racing here at Kansas Speedway?
That Highline is obviously, you can save some tires up there. I don't think it has much speed, but I think people are going to run it just because they have to. So I'm looking forward to how it's all going to play out tonight for sure.
All right, for sure there, Tim Lee. Thank you so much for your time down there.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the professor, Tim Lee, on the line there. Well, we talked to a professor, we've talked to a veteran. Well, I think it's time we talk to a guy that knows how to bite a few out of the competition. The rattlesnake, Robert Kahn, the ADA here. Kahn, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, the Hellman's number 88, certainly looking pretty flying under the night lights today, but yet again, you're going up against a heavy set of competitors here in a tough format. How are you faring with these tires on the ARCA cars?
Oh man, they're wearing pretty quick, so we got to figure out whether do you want to run the high line and be quick, or burn tires up, or run the low line and be kind of consistent. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. But fast lap time right now doesn't mean anything because this is going to be I think it's going to be a long run race because the cars handle pretty well. So it's all going to come down to who takes care of their equipment better.
100 lap deal, 100 lap positions here to try to figure every track out. We just heard from some of the drivers that the high line seems to be the better to save the tires, but when it comes to making pass opportunities, would you still be able to use that bottom to get a good run to take off the top side?
I think the only way you're going to make a pass slow is if you did what we did similar to Chicagoland, where you kind of go down and pull a slide job and trust a guy behind you enough that they won't run you over or move you out of the way, or you don't hit the wall. So I think that's about the only way, because the run coming out of the turn is just huge. It's 10 to 15 mile an hour difference.
For sure there. All right, well, Con, thank you so much for your time down there.
Thank you, buddy.
The rattlesnake, ladies and gentlemen. Time to listen to another favorite of ours here. Another driver we've heard plenty of times on the track before. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Blount and the number 6 Viagra machine. Eric, how are you today, sir? Well, I guess maybe he might not be in the booth here today, so we may have to leave him alone for a moment. See if we can hear from one of the other guys here. Maybe we can hear from DJ Mitzel. Mitzel, do you have the copy down there?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, Mitzel, ladies and gentlemen, on the call here. DJ, great to hear from you again, and bringing the Kodak Max Film number 4 back to the track here. Third fastest so far in practice, but we've heard a lot of drivers kind of talk about it. The qualifying laps are only going to be part of the fraction. What about that long run as well?
Yeah, I think the tires are gonna, by the end of run, you're gonna lose over a second, or just, well, end of one fuel run, you'll lose over a second off your speed. So yeah, it'll just be a managing tires. I think I've been doing pretty well at that in practice so far.
Yeah, we're dealing about a 550 to I think like 600 horsepower engine block on these ARCA cars here compared to what the Gen 4s would be running. How much of a tougher dilemma does that face, having to try to keep the tire wear controlled as well as trying to make passes here?
Yeah, honestly, I think passing is going to be a bit tough. I don't know if everybody's going to be doing it, but I expect most people to be on the top line, just not as much grip down on the bottom. So if you're trying to pass, I'm expecting you to see some slide jobs and stuff like that, trying to get in there low and slide up high, try to make it stick as much as you can. It'll probably be tough.
That's the word we've been hearing all day, ladies and gentlemen, is the slide job to be coming. Thanks so much for your time, DJ.
Yep, thanks.
Slide job, slide job, slide jobs. We're going to see if that is going to be the case indeed. Time to listen in now and see if we got Michael Pratt on the line here. Michael, do you have the copy down there?
I do have a copy.
All right, great to hear from you once again, sir. And right now, as you get set on the track here, how are things feeling for you and your team so far?
Not too bad. A little tight, but it's not too bad. We'll see how it goes in the race.
See how it goes in the race indeed. Now, going a little bit of that schemed up in that Chevrolet as well. Kind of get a little bit of that flame scheme going. I mean, I got to believe that's also kind of indicative of what the cars are going to be feeling like really later on in the event, isn't it?
For sure, for sure.
All right. Well, Pratt, nevertheless, we do really appreciate you coming on board here today. Best of luck down to you and the team.
Yeah, thank you.
Michael Pratt, ladies and gentlemen. See if we can holster in Tim Williams real quick here. Tim Williams, you have the copy down there?
I do. I got you, Chris.
All right, Tim, great to hear from you again, sir. And, it's been a while since we've really seen you parking down in Victory Lane here in this old 45 camp. Do you think maybe today there could be something going down for this track today for you and the team?
I don't know about that. I'm having a hard time getting around here. It gets a little tight after a while, so you just got to get used to it. The bottom seems to get a lot of grip in the beginning, and then you got to go up to the top to keep your tires gone or good. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to give it the best shot I can.
Is that where you're kind of going to aim your line towards in the race, or are you thinking maybe just to kind of only use the bottom for qualifying and try to save the tires for the long haul?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right. Well, Tim Williams, we appreciate you coming on board here today, buddy.
Not a problem. Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
You too, bud. 45, ladies and gentlemen, iRacing to Tim Williams. So right now the field currently just pulling down the last bit of laps here. Drivers getting prepared up for all that's encompassing and all that's about to be taken down. But a man we know all too well that knows how to put a finger or two on that trigger to pull for the win. It's the Kill Switch man, the Katie man, the Reese's Cookies 26 of Daniel Holloway.
How's it going?
Yeah, going pretty good. I think I probably just gave you the longest intro I've given out any of these drivers I've talked to today so far.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So, I think it's kind of been down to business though, Candyman. You have a long haul against you. You've had a couple of wins already this season, but now you're going up against a track that many drivers like Derek Walson and Robert Kahn know how to kind of run with the best of them. How do you kind of favor in terms of trying to take control of your car and handle the long-term burn?
This track here, that's gonna stay off this wall during practice, but man, if you're on that wall, she's gonna grab you tonight. I like this track too. It's just pretty much gonna be keeping my tires and race for the end again. So I've been pretty good, finishing well. Just want to get back to that victory lane.
For sure there. All right, well, Daniel, you certainly got your work cut out for you. Best of luck as you get ready to wrap it up with these boys today.
Thank you, thank you. Hopefully me in the podium.
We'll see you then. Good luck today. Daniel Holloway, ladies and gentlemen, the Candy Man himself. And, yeah, if you haven't already seen, we're heading into the qualifying section of our race today. So it's time to see what the drivers can cook up and bring to the table. Our first competitor is out on the track. Derek Paulson, Michael Lee Campbell, Eric Blount, Corey Coe, Frank Hughes, Tim Lee, and Jason Wall. So, looks like a few new names coming to the show. Some you have seen before, you have heard before. Should be an interesting little dilemma here to see what comes down to the track and who can bring out the fastest laps here. I suspect, though, you're going to see a lot of drivers really trying to push their luck and push their limits as much as they possibly can. Guys like Ty Marasco especially are looking for that first win of the season, coming so close so many times in other races. Now having to try to transfer back into this and try to figure it all out. And I said boys earlier, I got to remind ourselves as well, and remind myself, there is a lone lady in the field, the throttle, Chantel Pottle. She'll definitely be one to keep your eye on in these cars as well as these races. We'll have to see how things go for her and the team, though. Right now, the lap's being put down on the mark. First lap. Oh! Randy Bledsoe there in the 81J is going to get into the wall early and cost himself his lap time. As the first big lap set is by the 31 flat. Derek Paulson, the number 6, getting a good time. But I know one thing's for sure. You can get those 39.7s, and that's a Daniel Holloway lap right there. Keep our eye on here on Paulson here. He's going to be really trying to rocket the speed up a little bit, trying to increase the momentum. Everybody was talking about running in that bottom lane. Well, some are going top side here. Paulson, one of them. And his lap is a 30.85. That's running the top side, too. The pass has been made. You have a new leader. And Mitchell fires one right back at him. Gets the rocket launcher out and sends the missile towards the field. 30.78, just enough to keep Daniel Holloway below him. Now onto the racing scene, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing on out Tim Williams, the 45 iRacing.com machine. Todd Poston also putting his final lap down on the track here. Len McNeese, Chantal Bottle, and Len Randy Bledsoe putting their first laps down. We'll see what Tim's got in store. 10 minutes of qualifying to set our field today. And believe me when I say this too, that's a who's who of drivers just trying to make or break their season, trying to make or break themselves in the best flight and limelight possible. Every driver has got the skill, the technique, and the conversation to really be in that top spot. But again, to be the best, you have to win out the best. Our first laps here for Tim Williams will be a 31.14. That'll put him somewhere in the middle of the pack. That's not going to be a very good lap there, as he tries to do a very different strategy here. Every lap counts here, especially in qualifying. You really have to make it count in the best ways possible. And I think Tim right now trying to use that bottom lane to his advantage. Wants to try to get any kind of run he can off it. Off the final corner here in turn number 4. Looks like it'll be a 31.02. Good time, but not enough to get into the top spot. How strange though, most of these drivers saying that they had to run the high side to save tires, but a lot of them are setting the fastest time on that high side. Could it be these drivers are trying to find a different light? Are they trying to find a different lane? It's hard to say. Like Treywick right now, number 56, going to try to move his way to the top spot. He's 17th position right now. Looking to use the very bottom of the essence of the track. Robert Kahn getting his first lap in as well. Treywick's final time from a 31.27. I'd say it's probably a 39, possibly. No, 31.07. Blake Treywick. A driver usually you see in the top half. He's in the bottom pack for this one. The Rattlesnakes' first lap, a 30.95. And look where he's driving it at. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. You saw Treywick making his move on the bottom. Couldn't get a good time. But look at the Rattlesnake. He's getting an extremely good run on the outside. He's building the momentum, and the car's sticking there like glue almost. The rear end kicks out ever so slightly, but he doesn't have to lift. And that's going to allow him to bring him a fast lap here. Last one's 3.95. New leader score of 30.71. We do have a new leader, Robert Kahn. The Rattlesnake strikes big at Kansas. So that now sets the field up for the most part here. Sean Robinson going to be the lowest of the qualifiers. His fastest time was a 31.61. Fastest a 30.71. So nearly a full second off. From the Rattlesnake, Ray Radford, Michael Pratt, not qualifying just yet, but my race fans, what a time and what a place there for that one. Kahn right now knows he has his work cut out for him. So right now the field currently just getting set to go and paced out, ready for this one. Everybody right now tuning their cars up, tuning up their wheels, making sure everything is stuck on and put into right positions here. We only have about 2 minutes left on the clock before we enter into today's action here in the night skies at Kansas Speedway. Let's take a look at your top 10 qualifiers here in case. Con, right now your fastest and set the fastest time. DJ Mitzel getting the second fastest. Daniel Holloway going in a nice solid third. Derek Paulson fourth. Chantel Pottle yet again surprising a few, getting top 5 here. 61 of Frank Hughes getting a nice 6th position. Tim Williams, I said earlier on I didn't really think his time was all that good, but you know, he's made a monkey out of me. He got a pretty good time for on that bottom with a 31.02. Michael E. Campbell getting 8th in the 92. The 81 of Randy Bledsoe getting a nice solid 9th and 10th for Ty Marasco. So I'm going to kind of be a little bit of a spoiler right now. I'm thinking my top 3 drivers for this one will be Con, Paulson, and I'm thinking Holloway, honestly, is going to be the other one. I've got 2 wild cards, though. I've got my eye on Marasco, and I've got my eye on Treywick. I don't usually say Marasco and Treywick are 2 wild cards, but this is kind of a wild card race for me for Treywick because unlike Chicagoland, where he had a lot of speed and a lot of power, this is not a track he can exactly play that on. So that's going to kind of set him into a bit of a different tone. He's going to have to strategize and really tempo the track and really kind of tempo the tires. Marasco's good at it, but as we've seen as well, he can get out-duped a little bit by his own teammate, Derek Paulson. So I think that could play a factor here. I think that's going to really be a tough little situation for him. So that's my top 5 picks, though. My 3 mains and my 2 wild cards. We'll see how bad I butchered that one. So, but nevertheless, race fans, time has come here to enter into our intro section. We will now set the field onto the track. We'll be right back with this little intro. Time for the Pit Stall Racing Series. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed that time at last. Presented by Lightning Wrapz, we present you the gridding order for the ARCA Series at Kansas Speedway in the Pit Stall Racing Series. On the pole, in the 88, it will be Robert Combe. The outside, in that number 4, it is DJ Mitzel. Row number 2, in the number 26, it'll be Daniel Holloway. The outside, the 06, Derek Paulson. In row number 3, it will be the 5, the throttle, Chantel Bottle. The outside, that's 61, Frank Hughes. Row number 4 is Tim Williams, the 45, the outside, and the 92, Michael E. Campbell. Row number 5, in the number 81, it'll be Randy Bledsoe, the outside. In the number 1, Ty Marasco. Row number 6. In the number 9, it'll be Corey Cove with the outside, the big 5-6, Blake Treywick. Row number 7. In the number 6, it'll be Eric Blount with the outside, the 31, Todd Poston. Row number 8. In the number 84, it'll be Len McNeese to the outside. In the 9-8, it is Mike Taylor. Row 9. In the 2-4, it is the professor himself, Tim Lee, in the outside. In the 13, Douglas R. Johnson. Row 10 is the 93 of Jason Wall, the outside. In the 15, Sean Robinson. And at last, in our final row today, it will be the 3 of Michael Pratt. And the outside, in the 4-7, this is Ray Radford. Your field of drivers now set to go for the action here on PT Race TV. Ladies and gentlemen, share it around. Let your friends know. Let your family know. Like and follow us up. Share us around. Subscribe on YouTube for our end as well. We got our Twitter and Instagram handles already buzzing and brewing. And it's time to get racing down here in Kansas City. And already looks like some mechanical problems down there with the 92 parking of Jason Wall. Might need to get that cleared up on his end a little bit, but it seems like he'll be able to refire it. The field coming their way off down turn number 4, ladies and gentlemen. The time has come here to set our distance off. 100 laps to the distance. Let the Pit Stall Racing Series begin. The Fort Worth Screen Printing starting zone sends our way. Interesting strategy from Holloway early. Drive it hard and drive it quick. Running down the gaps here, sliding them up a little bit. Each car having their own little hiccups here. Pressure is going to be very keen on just keeping control of your car. Slide job city already throwing the bucks. Holloway from the bottom of the depths below to the heavens above. Bledsoe earlier on getting himself into that wall protection, costing him any kind of good qualifying time, and now trying to have to maneuver his way in the back of the pack a little bit. I don't know if I ever would call the 9th spot being the back of the pack, but considering what you got to run with and who you're having to face up, this is honestly a very tough dilemma. If you're not the top 5, then you're really struggling here, because this is not going to be an easy track to pass on. This could be a very difficult track to master one way or another. A little tribute here from the 92, Michael Lee Campbell, remembering a loved one in Laura Lee. A very fitting tribute indeed. Also, I've already given a shout out last night, but I didn't get permission on it from Pit Stall. I hope they don't mind, but we do want to say our prayers and thoughts for our boy down there, William Mann Sr. We hope you are doing okay, good sir. Got word that he had suffered a heart attack just a couple of days ago. He has been in and out of the hospital, and hopefully he can recover nicely and get through this. We are all with you, my friend. The whole Irish community and us here at Pete Race TV have got your back, sir. We miss you. We love you. We hope you're doing okay there, buddy. Been talking with his son, William Mann Jr., or as they called him, the Man Beast here on Pete Race TV, and you know him and his dad are both fighting this fight together. So that's the strongest thing you can have. Especially in any kind of racing dilemma. That's what you need anymore. Fighting the fight together, by the way. Speaking of that, the throttle Chantal Paulo defending off the 61 of Frank Hughes here. Frank already going 1 spot up. The most so far has been 6 spots here. Michael Pratt, the number 3, already been able to accomplish that. Trying to just make some good work around the rest of the field here. As the drivers continue to go half at it and a little bit harder on the gas pedal. Sean Robinson, the Trojan, number 15, trying to not only protect whatever line he's got right now, but also looking to try to protect the tires from being cooked up or burnt up. Fielding them on down around each driver right now, continuing the momentum and continuing to dictate the pace. And the further these drivers can go along to dictate that pace, the better will become in terms of scope and control. But again, I really look for 3 big pillars here, which is how long does it take you to get up to a certain spot? What exactly is going to be the ultimate game plan and your goal? And can it be executed in case a caution comes out? We talked about it before, but those stage cautions or those competition cautions, those do make for an interesting dilemma where you can figure out how to work out into the system and into the setup. But for races like this, what I really like about this is that without that competition caution, it really gives each driver an unhinged feeling. It makes you just wonder, is it going to be a clean race, or are we going to be in for a little bit of a long night? You never know. We've seen it here where many drivers, they'll get really temptatious, they'll get a little bit aggressive, or they'll maybe just put themselves into a bad spot. But it seems like, early on anyway, they really are kind of keeping a close eye on that and trying not to let the car dictate their own control of this race. Ty Morasco, the number 1 right now, going head to head here with the 31 inside Boaston as the field continues to stretch out a little bit further and further along. And this is what we talked about earlier, was when drivers had to go to that bottom lane, would they be able to use the bottom to the top as well as you would on an actual dirt track? This track is very conducive to slide jobs like Chicagoland Speedway, as you constantly have to stay in the throttle, but you also have to constantly make sure you're not over ramping the tires up and burning them out completely outright. Top three starting to separate out a little bit. Those in the fourth and on back currently doing a different kind of ideals here, kind of a different line here, if you will. And one driver I said at the top of the hour here, I said it was probably going to be the favorite. It was going to be one of my favorites. It was the Rattlesnake. And speaking of that, I said him, Holloway, and Paulson were my top three. And then I believe I threw in Mitzel and Marasco. Honestly, I can't even remember who all I picked now. I'm pretty sure I picked Mitzel and Marasco. Or no, I know. I picked Marasco and Treywick. Treywick was my wild card. See, this is what happens when I say something. I completely forget what I said, or maybe I just or not even remember what I'm going to go for. So I apologize to Treywick there. But yeah, he is one of my wild card picks here. And again, I mentioned it before, but really having to run that line, having to run off that far of a distance, it's a very troublesome little spot compared to what he did in Chicagoland, where he was able to kind of kick it up and dominate. And having to start so far back as well, that certainly doesn't help your cause any. But it looks like he doesn't seem to mind it too much. He's already building a lot of power. And he's giving Derek Walsh and Tim Williams a lot to think about right now. These are not the Gen 4 style Cup cars. These are ARCA cars, so the engine and the blocks are a little bit slowed up, to say the least. They actually got about 400 less on horsepower than an actual Gen 4 car. And boy, what a difference that makes, and what a troublesome part that becomes for me, these guys have to figure out. Paulson and Williams moving ahead of the distance here, gapping off the 5. Trey, we're going to go right underneath here. Looks like Chantel may have got a little too aggressive and may have overdone her tires a little bit. Oh, well, that doesn't help either. Get right into that wall, and Todd Poston also going up into that wall. Bledsoe having to jack out of there and get out quickly. The field now that was driving harder up front now seem to lose their ground and their grip. Those that were laying low now starting to really drive it in deeper and looking to make it stick. Everybody else just tempoing and pacing. We're not even 15 laps into this race yet, and you can already see just how much wear and tear the car is feeling. Todd Bosa, no stranger to get into victory lane this season. He's already done it once. He's looking to try to bring another one home. I think one big thing, though, he's going to really have to factor in is, again, the overall momentum and the tempo of the race. Each part of the track almost kind of acts as a bit of a different substance here, and even Sean Robinson getting a little bit of that taste there. The Trojan 15 getting a little too obligated up to that wall protection and end up giving a good clip out of it. Didn't quite nick the entire rear end out, but he unfortunately did do enough to slow him down. You just can't get loose on this track. You've got to stay smooth and you got to stay a little bit more in control. You get too loose early on, boy, is it wear and tear you out a little bit. Speaking of Sean, also on the broadcast here, I do want to kind of break the fourth wall here, and I'm just going to say happy birthday to my brother Sean for I believe he's turning a solid 32 today. So Sean, happy birthday, and for sure miss you, big bro. Wasn't for him, he was one of the reasons I even got into racing to begin with. So it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't even be doing this announcer gig. So a big happy birthday for me on my end here today. If you guys don't mind the comment section too, if we could get a happy birthday to Sean as well, that'd be much appreciative of it. Back to the action right now. Currently though, Corey Coe in the number 9 and Sean Robinson the 15 going head to head here. Back at fourth affair, both drivers continuing to duke it out. As the Gulf Oil number 9 looking to cross over. Big jump to the bottom lane now into the middle section, and he's got to run on Robinson. There's the pass, and now the 9 moving into the 13th spot again. And just like that, as soon as you get an opening like that as well, you really have to capitalize on it quickly, or you've literally lost any kind of hope or chance to get that spot back anytime sooner in the race. Now that's not to say it's impossible to get it back. I'm just saying it's very difficult, and especially if you have that wall protection, that really makes things difficult. 3 wide off. Michael E. Gamble has jammed the right front end of the wall, and he's struggling to get it out of there. Well, there was a lot of doors that got opened up on that one. Randy Bledsoe almost clipping it up there too. Len McMeese jumping his way into the bottom, into the middle, structuring his way right towards the number one at time on Roscoe. Not Roscoe B. Goldtrain, but Ty Morosco. Currently trying to hold these fields down, trying to hold everybody back behind him. He wants nothing to do with it. Uh-oh, and speaking of nothing to do with it, trouble for Randy Bledsoe. He'll have plenty of problems now without wall protection, taking a good chunk out of the right front and the left side. Oh, my. Rear end completely crinkled up back there too. I saw the car was completely loose and kind of thrown a bit to the wire there. We're going to the Pizza Racing TV. It's a replay to catch another look at this one. Looked like Corey Coe might have had a little field day with him. Here's your Fort Worth screen printing replay. Oh yeah, he had a field day all right. Nasty little collision. Robinson had nowhere to go. Side skirt and the rear end getting completely tampered in there. Corey Coe definitely getting aggressive here, but I would say that might not have been the smartest move here to get this aggressive so early. I think I probably would have waited till later. But then again, that's just me. Yeah, Bledsoe maybe slow down a little bit, but even then I'd still think there was enough room there to maybe have time to back off. You see a car like that go into that turn, it's very difficult to get them stopped. I'll admit that up front with these ARCA brakes, but that doesn't mean that you can't swerve them or can't work around them a little bit. You just got to be patient and coherent. Unfortunately, though, did not quite work out in Bledsoe getting the blunt of it. So a tough break there for both drivers getting into that mess. Mike Taylor, the 98, going to stay out in the pit road here. So let's take a look at our pit stop here. Flip cam in action. We're going to the top. We're going to the skies, ladies and gentlemen. Front spot. Well, that's obviously the rattlesnake. Back spot, that's DJ Mitchell, and the one that just went right by him, oh, that is the Candyman himself, Daniel Holloway. So out of pit road, it's Kahn, Holloway, Mitchell, Williams, Roscoe, Paulson, Bottle, Hughes, Poston, and Tim Lee, your top 10 from this one. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, there is more action to be had. What will Mike Taylor's choice be in the 98? We're going to see in a minute, but other than that, we do know one thing. The rattlesnake dominates early. Tonight's race here in Kansas Speedway, Kansas City here has been presented in part by our friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing. You guys need custom designed t-shirts done up your way, your style, no way, no how. There is no other better way than to get it from our boys at Fort Worth Screen Printing. Be sure to visit them up at www.fortworthscreenprinting.com to get your latest and greatest t-shirt designs made your way. Also, a very big thank you to the friends at John T. Garrett Twitch channel. Be sure to visit him up at John T. Garrett on Twitch. And buy Lightning Wrapz with the most affordable designs made at your leisure. Lightning Wrapz looking to bring you the best designs in your library.
When you need the best designs in your fleet of vehicles, there's only one brand name that many trust in. One that makes every car pop out from the rest of the field, and that is Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at Lightning Wrapz. Get yourself a vehicle unlike the rest. Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on the broadcast here. Currently 23 laps of 100 will be put into the books. Kansas Speedway giving these drivers a whole lot of trouble out of the gate. Field right now working their way on around here, still preparing up for the rest of this one. Heated display and raw performance definitely bringing these drivers to good use and in positions they need. Field lingering their way around. Still got about 76 laps left to go in this one. Time to send these drivers back on around to the past the shadow realm into the peak of the top. Let's see who brings it home. Green flags back on out. So Mike Taylor did go on a pit road a little later than everybody else, giving everybody else a decent chance here to really make their mark and make their moves here out of the gate. It will be the Rattlesnake Rubber Con moving the chains. Daniel Holloway and DJ Mitchell with time. Oh! Whoa! 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 That is trouble! That is trouble! No caution though. There remain green, but I think we probably need a caution. There's yellow out. Yellow is finally out. Oh my goodness, the rattlesnake got bit, and there's one thing we always said on the broadcast, don't make the snake mad. Well, they made him mad, but that one was a nasty little tumble there. What on earth just happened? Oh my goodness. We're going to the PTM Race TV Instant Replay. That was nasty. I don't know who started it and what happened. All I know is we just gotta look at the replay. Well, the missile literally just completely caved in the 88. Then Holloway got caved in by the 45 of Tim Williams. Paulson just clipping missile. I don't know if that was intentional or that was just a little payback for Con or whatever happened to getting him in trouble too. But that was a nasty little situation there. Missile driving it up quick at Con. Con getting back in. You can see there's the clip. Williams just went right through Holloway. I'm not sure what happened there, but he went right through him. And then Paulson, yeah, right there, I don't know what that's all about. I think he might have had a little, I think he may have had a little something for him. It's hard to say, but the caution did come out, and unfortunately, the one that got bit the worst was kind of the obvious one, but that was a nasty little hit there. One more look at it. See every driver just having to avoid that or get out of that way there. Other drivers really just getting in and control of that one, just trying to stay away from that mess, but oh my goodness, folks. There's one more camera angle I want to show just to kind of give you guys a little view of this one. You can just see it right here. They're getting all lined up. Drivers are heading down that back half. This is the middle of the pack. This is the onboard of the 5 camp. And you can see right here, as soon as they have it, look at what she had to do just to avoid that. She had to get out of that way and then have to try to see where someone else is going. Good clarity and good avoidance there, but definitely could have been a nasty little tumble. Not being careful there. Good Lord Almighty. So Bollinger right now also letting us know he's trying to get back into the iRacing again. Well, we certainly hope to see you there back soon enough here. Well, the whole field right now got a good separation marker, and there's one mad rattlesnake right now that had to take a fast repair, and I'm pretty sure there's a few others out there that had to take one too. Daniel Holloway, DJ Mitchell, and all them, they certainly have to. It looks like Mitchell, though, not going to take the repair yet. I think many of these drivers right now probably can't even believe that just happened. That's usually not something you see from guys like the Mitchell, DJ Mitchell. It's not something you usually see a mistake from Robert Kahn either, but just getting completely taken out there, to me, either tells me he backed off a little too soon or Mitchell just drove it way too hard in. and when he dashed that bad boy in there, he lambasted that one and got him real good. A nasty, nasty, nasty collision. Sends the field into a spiraling panic there, and that's what we end up getting in their long run. So right now, Morosco, Hughes, Pottle, Poston, Johnson will now be your top 3 drivers. Field them down off turn number 4 to the restart zone, and let's send them back on our way. And hopefully not back to the Shadow Realm. Roscoe, I think probably taking a note out of Khan's book, which is get the heck out of town and get away from these guys. See how that handles here right now as they work their way down into turn number 3 and turn number 4. The field right now probably going to be very, very careful. Running them back down to the field, every driver. Oh, gosh, not another one. Tim Lee completely dragged him there. Mike Taylor getting it right into the corner. I'm not sure who got who there, but either way, nasty little hit. Taylor and Lee falling back further ahead, and now the battle for the race lead continues and commences. Frank Hughes right now making some good work in the 61. Clambering back around right now. Morosco trying to hold down that line off the top side and in the bottom lane as well. Hughes trying to keep it in control. The throttle shutdown bottle trying to get something on both of them. Could it be 3 wide opportunity time coming up? Todd Poston trying to instigate it. Hughes, he's driving up though. There's no room there. You got to keep it close. That's tight. That was a very, very close call there. That could have been bad for both drivers. Poston right now looking on. Trying to see if there's any opening, any kind of run. There is not much there. Look out, 3 wide. That's what happens. Oh my! Poston gets trapped there by Sean Robinson. Robinson trying to make a big jump around. Tim Williams has clipped the 92. We've got problems again. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Problems again, unfortunately, and that one was not what I think any of them had in mind. Jason Walgate. Oh, Mike Taylor. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Jason Wall, the recipient of that hit there. We'll take another look at the other end of that one, but this is what started it. This is what got us to this point for the caution. Coming right out that corner. You can see Tim Williams. He comes right back up. That car doesn't have any control. He slips up right into the 92. And then Wall really with nowhere to go. Just trying to hang on. Eric Paulson clipped up. So was Corey Coe. Oh my goodness. Well, let's go back though a little bit ahead of where they were at that started this little train, this little series of unfortunate events. Robinson literally jigging it in deep. He looked for the run, tried to find an opening, and instead all he found was misery. 4 wide there for a minute. Douglas Johnson watching that on, gets on the wall. Robinson, for his credit, he managed to stay out of that mess afterwards, but I mean, either way, you guys can determine how you want it, but in my opinion, that was a very risky move to be going that quick, that far into that lane. I know you have to make passes here, but this is what happens when you just can't quite remember. You don't have your spotter telling you where you're at and where you're in position. You have got to be very careful and make sure you have a very understanding of it, and that's what the dilemma can deal with you sometimes. Nasty, nasty wreck there. Wow. So yet again, we're not even halfway done with this race yet. We've had drivers just literally thrown into the forbidden territories, if you will. Many of which taking some nasty, nasty collisions. So the field right now, currently swapping positions more than I usually swap out a pair of pants in and outside of work. Crazy to me to believe and just see what all has done to everything changing into the lineup here. Field running their way on the back straightaway here. Momentum now beginning to set itself apart. What will the drivers now put on display? We shall see. Running them back down across the playing field here, race fans. Back to the green flag. Let's send them on our way. Yeah, I just thought of something too. My 2 wild cards, I've only got one of them that's still really in this race. My 3 drivers I picked got the broadcaster curse early, which was Con, Holloway, and Paulson. And Paulson's right now further back in the field than I kind of expected him to be. Con Holloway definitely trying to make up for lost ground time. Lining them back down around across the field here into the sections and into the zones right now. Eric Blount crossing down on the bottom lane here as the 6 tries to hold it down with the 5 sent up auto right there. Blount though going full bore, full send, call it whatever you will. It's a full throttle assault in my opinion. Of Corey Coe, Daniel Holloway, and Len McNeese kind of mixing it up a little bit. Every driver themselves. Oh boy, that could have been bad. I have to hold my breath every time I see that now because I just don't know if these drivers are going to tangle or they're going to scoot. And they're certainly going to scoot 3 wide for the race lead. Frank Hughes throws the haymaker and a full-on Mike Tyson punch to knock out his competition. Now looking to build the momentum and run away and hide. The 61 has got the Hughes Garage jumping it right ahead of Randy Bledsoe. Bledsoe's trying to stick with him. Absolutely chaotic, to say the least, here in maneuvering by all 3 drivers. Bledsoe, Morosco, probably not expecting Hughes to just go completely crazy like that, considering what we saw earlier. But nevertheless, the maneuver was made, the shot was called. Now opportunity setting itself in motion. Holloway and Blunt right now trying to maneuver their way through the gaps, through the zones here. Each driver putting pressure on one another. Khan trying to bite back. And he has been, I think right now, he is spewing the venom on everybody for getting him earlier. But it looks like the Candyman doesn't take that kind of venom. Now the only venom he's got is whatever he stained his teeth with on that bad boy. And that is certainly not going to be too much of trouble for him. Sticking to his gun, sticking to his run, trying to put the pressure on. But again, Khan still hangs on. Jason Wald, despite getting clapped up there a little bit earlier, seems to be getting some momentum carrying forth his way. Nearly halfway done with this race. You can just see the wear and tear now starting to really affect these drivers in more ways than one, perhaps. A lot of guys currently, I think, just trying to stay within the realm of their sanctuary at the same time. Trying to just keep themselves relatively cleaned up and set in motion. Frank Hughes, Randy Bledsoe right now starting to separate themselves out further. Hughes already knows a thing or two about getting to the front, staying up front. Eric Blau, also another guy that really knows how to get her done here. Ty Morosco and them in the same situation, the same boat. Coming right off the backsides here as well. The field separating themselves out more and more, and some drivers being completely driven to the point of insanity. Kind of looking at it a little bit further here, it looks like at this point tire wear is starting to really be a crucial factor, and the fuel now starting to also be a bit of a factor here. At this point, really, I think that really now we're just going to be looking at a longer run here and a longer format for some of these guys. I think really they have kind of exercised their demons, and now they have pushed themselves up enough to where they don't have to really worry too much about everything in between. Coming up, double filed in now. Trawick right now currently getting clipped right with Michael Pratt in 3, making some charge here. Flipping it right out back our way here. Pratt now even making his way around the rattlesnake. Khan just giving up plenty of openings here, and I think honestly he may have stretched himself out. I mean, that's something you just don't see too often in Trawick. Again, he's already a couple laps down, so he's already kind of thrown himself into the frying pan, if you will. And now having to try to carry himself back up to the front, or carry him somewhat of his own deal here. Gonna bring him right around here. Holloway going to move his way out the bottom lane again. Looking for any run he can. Just to think too, we had so many wrecks happen earlier on. The one spin, and then the next thing is the big two issues at the start of the race. The race start, if you will, and then everything else from there has now kind of turned into this, which has turned into just a matter of survival. Now, how exactly do you do that? Well, let's find out. Time to go on board here with Frank Hughes. Immediately as she had the wheels turned into, you may have noticed this. Look at how it's skewed on the right side there. That's because, again, when they're going down those turns, they have to kind of skew the car a little bit, so the rear end wants to kick out a bit. So keeping it nice and straight is a very critical option here. Let it skew like that, though, means you have to kind of turn the car in further and further along, and then as you start to straighten her back out, then get her back to the middle, right side. Let the car run its gauntlet in and then field it down from there. And right now, Hughes starting to make good work of it. He's got a 3.5+ seconds lap time overhead of Randy Bledsoe. Just not getting any extra give or any time from these drivers. These boys right now putting themselves on the line, putting their pressure on. Hughes right now probably looking at the overall facts as well, just trying to keep himself under control. And well, I know that MF Racing Design 06 Derek Paulson had a damaged up scheme as it was. It wasn't put on properly of the car. I can at least say now it looks like the crash has actually have made it look somewhat like the car actually was damaged up like that to begin with. Now that's, I know it's not completely, I know it's not very funny, but I mean at the same time, it's kind of in a dark way. That's kind of funny to me. Still a lot of parts that have to get fixed up and done right on that thing, and hopefully Paulson will be able to come out bigger and better, stronger than ever here. But we do know he has at least put himself on the top spot already, so it's not to say he can't get this dialed in again and get back to the victory lane. He can do it. Just have to catch a few breaks here and there and then hope for the best in that case. Khan and Holloway right now lingering around, just trying to hang in there a little bit. Like Trawick getting a good little camera action here as he watches the field of drivers. Just trying and hopefully praying a little bit for any kind of luck or any kind of hope, but Right now, Hughes needs to do this here to get himself a little bit of that fuel run. I'm not sure how the drivers will strategize above all else there from there, but Blount, Bledsoe, and them going to pit road. Morasco, hold on. Nice save. That thing was completely gone there in turn number 4 there, and he managed to bring it back. Daniel Holloway and Michael Pratt, they'll stay out. Very, very interesting strategy here, if you ask me. And now the number 3 of Pratt entering into pit road here. Holloway will join him. Glenn McNeese, Tim Lee, they are both going in. So now everybody heading to pit road here. Strategy's coming out. And Motorasco gonna bring it back to the track. Well, the only downside though is Bledsoe, Hughes, Blount, and all of them already escaped with that spot. So at this point, really just kind of hinders on just trying to maintain control, maintain distance of the run here. Right now, currently on lap 62 of 100 here so far. Pressure starting to mount on these drivers. And really the pressure mounts for 2 main reasons. The biggest one really is just tempo, pacing, and control. There's not a whole lot of breathing room. There's not a whole lot of run really at this point now to even make up the ground and the time lost. They pretty much left them right in the dust and pushed their way back on ahead. Also well aware of that right now as he's trying to keep himself somewhat conservative and under control. He is in the 7th position right now. Khan currently in 6th here. Your fastest qualifier though, again, getting himself trapped and really bashed into such a degree. Has to be the absolute worst feeling in the world really for him. Robinson right now going to call it a day. He's going to go to pit road, and I think honestly that may be the unfortunate situation, but that circumstances is what you have to work with sometimes. The rattlesnake though, Robert Kahn, he is starting to build a little bit of momentum up. He's not out of the woods yet. He's not out of this race yet either. Ray Radford, the grade up 47 right now, just getting right below as the 88 chumps and charges his way right into the pile. Gone now, getting up to Blount there. He's got a lot of power here. The Hellman's 88. I think he might be onto something here. He's jumping right ahead of quite a few of them. The next one up is Morasco, and you can see where he's at. Bledsoe right ahead of him. Frank Hughes, though, well, let's just say he's kind of escaped the entire field a little bit. Take a look at your best lap times right now. I'm interested to see this here. God, oh my. If you didn't think he was going quick enough already, here's a little pass there as well, Morasco. Yeah, MF Racing Nice #1, finally. Getting some runoff and getting some speed bursted his way. Gets it around Randy Bledsoe, probably to escape the rattlesnake coming for him. Don sets the fastest, 30.97 second lap time. I mean, it really wasn't any surprise there considering how quick he was just muscling through the field. Frank Hughes right now trying to get a little bit further ahead, trying to get the gap cleared out. But again, I think I would not want to be in his shoes right now. Look at the gap here between Morasco and Hughes. The sea of green is what represents Hughes' run to him. And if you know Khan's catching them both, then Hughes might want to be very careful here. I will say he's probably trying to strategize above all else here a fuel run, but I don't know if that's going to necessarily work here. Morasco has even made a jump ahead. He's got the race lead there. Missed it just as we were getting back on the camera there. So the #1 taking the lead from Hughes with 30 laps remaining. And look out, but here comes a feisty snake. I said it literally earlier, guys. Don't tick off the snake. The snake has now slithered his way again back into the spots. It's like nobody listens to me when I'm on these broadcasts. Like, I've dealt with this guy enough to know you don't tick off the snake. Should you know this in real life too? You guys don't you don't make a snake mad. You don't want it to try to bite you. Well, they didn't listen, so now they're paying the consequences. But Morasco, at least right now anyway, he's my only wild card pick left, and he's actually not doing too bad. He's actually keeping his ground on Khan here. Oh, we gotta be careful of the guys up on the wall there. That could have been bad. Jason Wall, the 92, gonna park it down in pit road here. He's having all sorts of problems right now. Damage up the right side of that car. He'll be going to pit road big time here. Coming right on the back straightaway here, lingering our way through. DJ, the Missile Mitzel, after his mistakes earlier on, he seems to have finally figured something out. Randy Bledsoe, high of second so far. Just keeping himself under control, trying to keep himself relatively in the clean market here. He doesn't want to try to put too much pressure on himself. At the same time, he doesn't want to overdo what was left on the table. But with all that run and all that momentum carried through, it really hampers him on so many regards, so many levels. And speaking of that, we're going 3 wide, saluting again. 3 cars battling for position. Tim Lee in the 24 Pit Stop Racing Series trying to build something up. Told me earlier today he wanted to make sure he got that car showcased a little more on PTM TV. Well, this was a good opportunity to do it. Catch moments like this. Michael Lee Campbell, the 92, jumping up on the high side of the 84. Liquid East trying to stay right there with him, trying to stinger him off. But he's getting it stinged if he's not too careful battling McNeese like that. McNeese in the Western Auto Group gonna go down low. Let's see where this one goes. Jumps on to the bottom, Slide Job City, and the pass has been made. Daniel Holloway's number 26 right now, currently in a mix of trouble. Went in a little lap later, but unfortunately, you got to be careful about pit strategies because sometimes you have that little glaring issue of making yourself get a time penalty here. Well, unfortunately, that is the deal for him. Little onboard camera action here as you see Tim Lee continue to work his field in, trying to muscle the track on around. So now Morasco, after that brilliant maneuvering and brilliant strategy making here, looks like he finally got a call down right to a T. The number one has not only gained a good lead up, but he's also putting a lot of distance between him and Khan as he finally figured out a winning formula here. I literally said at the beginning of this broadcast, he was my wild card for one reason. Number one, he's got speed and got power, but his downside is like when he goes up against his teammate like Derek Paulson, he just doesn't seem to figure out when and where to make the right maneuvers and to make the right times to strike. This seems to have finally changed everything, and the MF Race Designs 1 seems to have silently cleared the gap and cleared the air. I think that pass around Hughes not only set himself apart from Khan, I think it also finally got him separated out from the likes of his teammate in Derek Paulson. And yeah, Paulson, he's got the same strategy Khan does. Maneuver through the field and power him out. He's holding on to third right now, but again, are we going to be looking at another set of pit strats? Another set of pit strats and pit stops here. That is the big question. I say it's a big question because, again, when do they need to go into pit road and when will they have to go into pit road? Coming around, 21 laps to go right now. Len McNeese here continuing to muscle the field and jumping his way into position. And these guys right now, man, they're absolutely taking full control of it. Morasco and Paulson and all them going to pit road. Morasco trying to get out quickly. Khan staying. Khan went in a little earlier than he did, and he's trying to get it right back ahead of him. Morasco, in my opinion, needs to start going because Khan's coming. Tim Lee, Eric Blount, Len McNeese, Michael Pratt, all engaging themselves into a bit of a warfare position. Tim Lee, Daniel Holloway going to pit road now. Morasco doesn't exactly have a huge lead on Khan, and he's not exactly building one up. Oh! Well, they had to speak too soon for the rattlesnake. The Hellman's 88 got loose. They're coming through turn number 1 and 2, and Morasco, almost like smelling the blood in the water like a shark, he just completely takes full control of it. Roscoe now getting a little bit gap in there between each other, and these drivers now know what's on the line, trying to focus on keeping a close eye on them here as the field continues to separate out more as they go. Top names like Todd Post and Eric Blount all kind of singering way back into the field. So now with only about a 7/10 of a second difference here, Marasco knows there's only 14 laps left to go. He's fired on all cylinders. He's trying to hang on. Opportunities running quick, running sore. Keep the momentum up, keep the power on down. Hope for the best, hang on down there. Really nothing you can do at this point except just really give it more momentum and just keep pushing and trucking it along. 12 laps in left now. And the gap starting to decrease even more as she goes. Marasco feeling the pressure. Now it looks like about a 7/10 gap there. It was about 5/10, now 7/10. Both drivers letting things get more and more out of the way. Field has just been absolutely ruckus. This crowd living out a little bit here. Those that stuck around to the cold airs of the Kansas Speedway were treated to some hot action here on the track and on the showcase. And we're getting more and more of it. With the final laps now pursuing 10 laps to go. You can see this field right now again with how crazy we've seen it flip-flop and switch around. We've seen drivers that are literally 15th on back up to the front. We've seen drivers that were 10th on up in the very outhouse, only to be left behind for a good distance or two. Now starting to fight back their way and scratch up and claw whatever they can get left out of it. Cod back in the wall, having a bite off there with Ray Radford. Radford kind of giving him a bit of trouble here. Marasco almost looked like he just got a gift from the Racing Lords. If there was any other way to put it, I think that's probably the best way to put it right now. He's won before. But this season, what a maneuvering and what a corner action it would be for him to take this one home if he can get this win today at Kansas. Step out of the limelight and step into the spotlight. Michael A. Campbell and Eric Bond having a little tussle there. Michael Pratt as well looking on. Pratt again today, give him credit where credit's due. He had an impressive little run there. Making good use of the cars, making good use of the momentum throughout. Well, then I had to say that he ended up getting the wall a little bit, but he's okay. Not trying to broadcast or curse him or anything here. At least he's staying in under control. Top 5 here, 5 laps to go. Marasco looking to complete the mission. Top 5, Marasco, Kahn, Paulson, Missile, Bledsoe. Stabilized in between this position here, and again, pretty much settled on who's going to be where and who's going to be when. Frank Hughes, his last pit stops, costing him dearly. And I think a lot of that had to do to just overcompensation and driving way too hard. Yet again, another one's going to slip for Frank here. But again, I think after the performance we saw today and what he was able to do, I suspect we'll be hearing more about him in the near future. Todd Post and Corey Coe right now, the only really close enough drivers, if you will, besides Michael Pratt and Michael E. Campbell, to have any little fight here, or any little battle for the final spots here in the final parts of this race. With only 3 laps to go, really there's no time left to begin any kind of extra run or any kind of extra leeway here. And I think a lot of that just has to boil down to one thing, which was just the overall pacing, momentum, and the control of the race itself. 2 laps to go. Give Kahn credit where credit's due, from being wrecked out to being almost dead last to jumping it back up to the front and getting into a second spot here, considering everything he's been through, and same for Derek Paulson. I mean, I gotta admit, that's pretty impressive, and I think it really showcases where these drivers' mindsets and where their minds and mentality lands when they are becoming drivers. But off of corner number 3 and turn number 4, white flag out, this time on by Ty Marasco. A couple of weeks ago, had a great showcase and a great showing, trying to make what was left and what was of his commence to try to take this race and try to take the win. Now finding himself and fall. Wait a minute, he's not fighting himself. He's got a problem. I think he's running on fumes. I think he's out of gas. I think Marasco's out of gas here. He is out of gas. Kahn is only going to get out of the corner. Marasco trying to block him. They wreck in the top. Paulson, what? Paulson just got the win. Oh my goodness! Kahn's put in reverse. He got it to the line in reverse. Robert Kahn loses out on a win, but finishes in style, for whatever you want to call it. Derek Paulson just won this race. Oh my goodness! And Marasco, I don't think he's coming off that wall anytime soon. Ty Marasco loses this race on a fuel run, throws a last-minute block to try to save his race. Kahn dishes one right at him there and gets him clipped up. Has to send that bad boy into reverse. Menzel gets around him, but Derek Paulson wins this race Maybe not the most orthodox way, but hey, a win is a win. I am stunned right now. That is unbelievable. I know I usually can make some pretty decent calls at the finish, but this is one of those calls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even sure if I could have even tried. I'd have to try that again if I ever got a chance. It's just some things you just don't expect. This was one of them. Here's your race results presented by Lightning Wrapz. Derek Paulson, for worse or for better, literally steals one away from his teammate. DJ Mitchell, down that front half, is going to have a little burnout session with him. It pulls it in a second. The Rattlesnake gets snake bit, bites back, and then gets snake bit again in the same race, and will have to settle for third. Randy Bledsoe will bowl off a nice top 5. Eric Blount, another top 5 as well for him. Michael Campbell putting on a performance, got a nice solid 6. Michael Pratt, great showing from him, goes 7th. Todd Poston get an 8th. 9th, Corey Coe, and Tim Lee finally getting himself some top 10 action on his end. That rounds out your positions and your finishers here. I mean, I don't even know what the heck I'm going to ask this guy right here. He's out of the car now, and I don't even think he even knows what to say here. But Con, you got a third place for the day here, but that last turn and that last corner, you just take me through it, bud.
Yeah, I got third place. Everything's cool.
I guess if you want, we can kind of skip out the interview. You can, if you just want to say whoever you want to thank for third, or we can get you out of here, man. It's up to you.
Appreciate PTM. Appreciate Pit Stall. Appreciate you. That's it, man.
All right, we'll catch you next time on the call here, Robert.
Yep.
This is one of those times I normally would try to at least get a good interview out of them, but guys, this is one of those times I'm not even going to try to force someone into this. They know they don't want to try to talk about that, and I don't blame them. That's a horrible break there for Khan. It's going to be one of those raw deals here, but for a guy like DJ Mitchell, the Mitchell strikes back here and gets a big one out of these guys. Mitchell, congratulations on that one here, but my friend, you had a lot of baggage in this one too. That tires got worn tore, and then you got clipped up there with Khan. What the heck was going on out there until that final leg of the race, sir? DJ, got a copy?
Hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That first one got out of that caution there, and Robert, I didn't mean to get into him there. I just didn't get out of the gas as much as him. I was expecting us to go a lot faster. Maybe he was probably just being a little cautious on the tires. So I apologize to Robert on that. That was a messed up thing. That middle of the race though, I got hurt there just because that first caution I ended up getting spun, and I didn't want to change tires. So kind of fell back. Then I got tires and kind of leveled off with everybody. Basically, I was just trying to catch Derek a little bit, but he was a little better off on and off pits than I was, and so I'd catch him a little bit, and then he'd lengthen it back out. That finish was a little unfortunate, though. I don't know what happened there. That was weird.
Yeah, about to say you got a big break there. It looked like from what I saw and what I angled out, Morasco tried to block Khan, ends up completely destroying him in the process. And you and Paulson managing to at least escape from this. I mean, at least with the second place finish today, I mean, does that kind of at least give you a little bit of a semblance of just knowing how hard you had to run for that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the second. I was happy with the fourth after what happened early. I felt like that first run, I thought it was going to be me, Con, and Holloway kind of setting the pace there. We were all kind of just settling in, letting our tires come in and trying to save them. But yeah, it was a lot more fighting there after, but it probably made the race a little more fun for me. So I'll take it. I'll take second. Be happy with it. I just feel for Robert there.
For sure there. Whatever, that's meant a little. Anybody else you want to thank, or you just want to kind of call it there, bud?
I just want to thank Tim, Pitstall, you, Chris, for broadcasting. But Tim's awesome. I mean, this series is so fun. Love the guys that come out. It's just a blast on Thursday nights. So I appreciate everybody.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, DJ, we do appreciate coming on board again, sir. Congratulations taking home a second place finish today.
Yep, thanks.
Well, it's chaotic, it's crazy, and this man somehow walks away on top of it all, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Paulson, your race leader and winner this one. Derek, man, I don't know what else I got to tell you, man. Congratulations, win this one out, but I believe in your mind, you caught a big break there.
Hey, yeah, that was an iRacing glitch. They've added that stupid feature where it auto fuels and gives you enough fuel. Well, it doesn't fill your car up all the way. So it's short fueled Ty, and so I'm disappointed for him because he got screwed. He was the best car out here by far tonight. And then he just happened to block a half a lane up, and Robert had a lap car on the outside, and oh, that wasn't good. I don't, that's just not the way I want to win a race. I wasn't the setup with this track. I mean, it felt good, but there was only one lane. There was the top lane. The bottom was terribly slow. On the long run, it wasn't bad, but if you wanted to be fast, you couldn't be on the bottom. And I'm just glad this track is done with because I was not quite a fan with that tonight.
Well, you may not have been a fan with it, but I mean, you sure made it work for what it was worth here, Derek. I know there was obviously a lot of craziness in between, but I mean, to be able to bring second win this time around, I mean, I gotta believe at least that's gonna be a somewhat bit of a confidence booster again, knowing you got at least two now to your name.
Well, even a podium, a third here would have been just fine. I got involved in a couple of wrecks there early on, put me back in the pack, and I was playing catch up all race. So I was far back, so I was pretty happy sitting in third. Finishing third would have been just fine. I would have liked to seen Ty and old Robert finish in front of me. It was just unfortunate there what happened, but yeah, I guess we'll chalk up another win in the win column.
Yeah, sure, Derek. I wish I had better questions for you, man, but I think like many of the fans here in Kansas City and on PTM TV, I think we're all just kind of stunned what we just watched. So I guess.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm stunned myself. I can't believe what happened there in the last corner. Kind of reminds me of old 90 Daytona when Earnhardt ran popped the tire in turn 3 on the last lap or wherever he was. I can't remember where he was, but yeah,
I think
it was
turn
something.
3 it was over in turn 3 on that one, I think. Well, nevertheless, Sarah, I mean, at the end of the day, Derek, who do you want to thank you for this one, man?
Well, I got to thank everyone who showed up today. We had 2 or 3 wrecks there that, it's just a track. That was not necessarily the guys. Track tightens up and there's only one lane, and that's bound to happen, especially when you get bunched together like that. Excuse me. So I got to thank everyone who showed up. I got to thank the admins. Got to thank Tim for putting this league on. I got to thank you up in the booth. It's great having you every week. Go back and watch you every week. Actually watch other leagues you broadcast too. You do a great job. And I got to thank MF Racing Designs. My paint was messed up this time. I forgot I threw a different paint on the wrong car, and so my car was all messed up. But and then I got to thank MFRD and just thank Ty for being out there with me tonight. And that's about it.
Well, for sure there. Nevertheless, Derek, man, congratulations bringing a win home, sir.
Yep, thank you.
I wish I had more to say, guys. Honestly, I mean, I've not had very many nights where I'm just kind of speechless or I'm just kind of stunned at what happened in this race. But I mean, this is one of those deals that, no matter how I look at it, no matter how I consider it, Morasco, for all intents and purposes, lost this race on the fuel run. Khan had him beat, and then this situation came up, or whatever happened. Honestly, we can't fully know what goes through the driver's mind to do that, but. I mean, we'll let you guys decide that one. It's a raw deal, but it is part of racing sometimes. I guess we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to call it a good here to go. So a big thank you to everybody that tuned on in. Thank you as well to the folks at Fort Worth Screen Printing and to Lightning Wrapz as well for your support. Happy birthday again to my brother Sean out there. Hope you've been watching these, big bro. I love you and I miss you down there. I'll see you very soon at the real racetracks here. And you fans out there, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys the next time we go live, which will be Saturday night with the GOAT Racing League. We'll catch you next time.